Good morning. It's Friday. Every Friday I try to do a financial tidbit, Friday's financial tidbit. So today I'm going to talk about money, obviously, right? Finances. I'm not going to use the B word, budget, because we know that it bothers some people, so we won't talk about that today. But I am going to talk about how important it is for you to pay attention to your money. We don't always do that. And we don't always live within our means either. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of compounding today and talk specifically about how finding, not even budgeting, but finding a little bit of extra money along the way can actually add pretty substantially to our retirement savings. I'm going to say this, and don't take offense. If you do take offense, I'm sorry, but I do believe it's true. We all waste money, all of us. The thing is being truthful with ourselves and looking at where our money is going and then trying to plug up those holes. So tracking your expenditures, just writing down what you're spending, can be a really, really great way to get started. You just do it for 2 weeks and then come back, look at your list and see where your money's going. Do you want your money to be going to those places, or could you maybe cut back a little bit and end up saving some extra money? So I want to bring in some examples that I used yesterday in my classroom. I did a financial literacy class, a virtual class, and we talked about a lot of these things. So when I was teaching that class, I was thinking about you, and I thought that would be a really good topic. So I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm really bad at making stuff up. So if I can have a real story to talk about, then I find that that's better for me. So I have 2 credit cards. I have one for my business. I have one for my personal expenses, just 2. And it's my intent always to do a line-by-line audit of those credit card statements when they come in each month. Best plans don't always work out. In normal times, I'm on the road, so I may be in the classroom from 7:30 until 4:30, and then I have to fight traffic to get to the airport, get on a plane, fly to my next location so that I can get up in the morning and I can do that over again. So I don't always feel like getting on the plane and going through financial documents, especially after I've been teaching all day. I'm tired. So I'm going to get on the plane and I'm going to go to sleep. So my credit card statements come in and I get them electronically, of course. And every month before I pay the bill, I do quickly glance at it to go, yeah, it looks good. It looks good. There's nothing that's jumping out at me. But I'm not doing my audit like I want to. And actually, about 8 months passes before I have a day when I go, okay, I feel like it now. I'm going to go back through that folder and I'm going to do a line-by-line audit of these credit cards instead of just going, yeah, it looks good. And I found some stuff on there. There was one recurring charge for $17 every single month. It was legitimately for something that I had signed up for, but I had also canceled. And even though I canceled it months before, because I wasn't paying attention, that company was still charging me the $17 a month. There was another charge on there for $9.99 a month. Again, it's not anything I'd notice, but that was for one of these internet things I signed up for. It's free. As long as you cancel it within the first 2 weeks, then it doesn't cost you anything. But you've got to put your credit card number in there before you can even sign up for this thing. So I put my credit card in there. I signed up for this free thing. I did cancel about 1 week in. So definitely within the time frames when I should have been able to not pay anything. But guess what? Even though I canceled it, they did not give me that free trial. They started charging my credit card every single month, $9.99, and I just hadn't been paying attention. I hadn't noticed that. My bank was also assessing a $9.99 per month service charge, which they shouldn't have, in my opinion, because they said you had to have a minimum balance. I had over that minimum balance, but they're charging me. And so, I'm finally now noticing this. So I called the bank to ask what's up. And they said, oh, We understand why you would think that you didn't have a service charge, but here's the deal. You don't need to have that minimum balance overall. You need to have that minimum balance in this account and this account and that account. And I didn't. I also didn't need all of those different accounts, to be honest with you. So what? I merged them into one, good to go. That's $9.99 a month that I can save. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's going to add up. Another thing that I had was a subscription, and I've talked about subscriptions before, but super important to talk about them again because we don't pay attention. We sign up for a whole bunch of stuff, and the company, out of the kindness of their heart, is going to help us by just automatically charging us every month. We don't have to be bothered going out there and submitting a payment or even taking the time to click, to pay that with our credit card. But then we sign up for the stuff, and generally it's a pretty low rate, so we don't pay attention to it. We forget about it. I had a subscription for $14 a month. That was for an online magazine. I really loved it. But when I look at it, am I reading that magazine? And the answer is no, I'm not. I see it come in every single month, and I grab the attachment and I move it to a folder on my computer. And I have like 2 years worth of magazines in there. I'm not reading it. Do I need to spend that $14 a month? I don't. If I have a day when I actually feel like reading the magazine, then maybe I'm going to go out and I'm going to spend the $9.99 to buy that magazine. I don't know. The point is that finding those little things, because I'm sure you're doing it too. Like I said, we're all doing it. How about, not going to call out anybody, but you know who you are. How about that $9.99 per month Planet Fitness membership that you have? If you're using it, awesome. You know that I am big into health. Do that. But how many people sign up for that because it's such a low price that they don't feel bad at the end of the month when they haven't utilized their gym membership? It was only $10. I'll get to it next month, and next month, and next month. But guess what? You don't. Just saying. That might be something that you want to look at. Another thing that I did, and this was just in the last few months, I was looking at my cell phone bill, and it had been getting larger and larger and larger, and I had unlimited data, and there was absolutely no reason why it should be increasing, but the cell phone company just was changing their rates. So I called another cell phone company. I ended up switching my carrier and saved $84.35 a month. I got the very same plan. I just went with a different carrier. That adds up to $1,012.20 a year that I can put in my pocket instead of paying to that cell phone company. That's what I'm talking about. Also, you sign up and you don't have to worry about paying kind of thing. I have a subscription or license to Dropbox so that I can share files with collaborators as I'm working on different projects. That license is $150 a year. I need it. I have to have that. But I get an email from Dropbox last year that said, we're getting ready to automatically charge you. You don't have to do anything. We're going to be renewing 3 licenses for you. 3 licenses at $150 a piece. I don't need 3 licenses. I need 1. But if I'm not paying attention, that's an extra $300 that I'm being charged. And now I have to go back and argue with them to get my money back. Or I got super busy. I planned to do that. But guess what? I didn't have time. Because I can't call somebody on the plane when I'm sitting on the plane, and email isn't going to do it. And so I'm going to, but time goes by. So we have to pay attention. If I just looked at these things and nothing else, if I just looked at these things and shut off all of that stuff, then I would have an extra $1,923.96 a year. And you see, I wasn't using that stuff anyway. I didn't need that stuff. I didn't even have to make a budget. I didn't have to cut back on anything except stuff that I wasn't using anyway. Now, if I also cut back on stuff that I am using, which is maybe a little bit, I don't know if painful is the right word, but if you want to make a change, sometimes you have to get a little bit uncomfortable. I like that better. You have to get a little bit uncomfortable. So I closed off all the stuff that I was spending money on that I really didn't need. And then also, we've talked about this before, I had been going to Starbucks twice a day. I'm on the road, I'm traveling, I have a lot of stuff going on, I'm going. But then one day I realized that I was spending a bit of money in there, and I didn't see it. Why? Because I have an app. I don't have to pull out money and pay them every time I go through the drive-through. I just hand them my phone. And sure, I'm refreshing the app, but guess what? I can do that automatically. Oh, who cares? I'll see it on my monthly credit card statement, but it's a necessity. So I cut back. Here's my uncomfortableness. I cut back to only going once a day, and I end up saving myself $3.50 a day. Then that's another $1,277 over this period of 1 year that I can put into my savings. I can put into my investments. So my $1923.96 for the stuff I didn't need anyway, and my $12.77 for the one coffee that I give up every single day totals just over $3,200. $3,200 in a year. Now, I take that money and I invest it in something that's going to give me an average 6% rate of return over a 10-year period of time, then that stuff adds $5,732.43 to my retirement account. And that's if I don't put any extra money in there. I just took the $3,200 and invested it, but I didn't do anything else. How about this? How about I find that $3,200 and every year for the next 10, when I'm going to retire, I put another $100 a month into my retirement savings. So I started with that $3,200, but now I'm putting $1,200 a year, $100 a month. It's still being invested at 6%. Guess what? At the end of the 10 years now, when I retire, I got $22,498 extra dollars in my retirement account. That wasn't that hard. I just have to pay attention. I have to find places where I can cut back. So this is what I ask my students in class, and I'm going to ask you too. And you don't have to share the answer necessarily if you don't want to. I know it can be a very personal thing, but as you hear me talk about this, paying attention, cutting back on the things that we're not using anyway, and or maybe making a few little changes here and there to save a little bit of extra money. Are you thinking of anything? Did something come into your mind that you know you could cut back on and actually be able to save that money? And that's all I'm asking you. Did you think of something? You don't have to tell me what it is, but I would really love to know if this is helpful and if maybe it's a different way of looking at those retirement savings and your money in general than perhaps you were thinking about prior to this. And I'm just trying to pull up my stream on my laptop so I can see if anybody's talking to me, because I don't know if it is working on my phone today. Sometimes it does. Hey, Nicole, I see you watching. Hi, Rob. Can you do me a favor and just type into the comments so I know if they're coming up on the phone or not, or if I have to be checking my computer? Could you do that for me? Yeah, okay, and I'm not seeing anything come up there, so let me just pull this up so I can talk to you. If you are talking to me, I want to be able to do that. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. Who knows why? Hey, Kathy. See, I like it when I can see you guys. I don't know why they're not coming across the phone. Good morning, Kathy. It is your smoke break. Awesome. Whatever. Coffee break, smoke break, chocolate break. I don't care what you want to call it. I'm super happy that you're here. It's so good to see you. Nicole, Starbucks habit. Girl, I hear you. You know that. fall into the trap of giving up that extra coffee, but don't take the extra step of transferring to savings. Yes, yes, yes. That's so important, because if I'm finding this money, but then I'm not doing anything to get it into my savings, guess what? That money goes somewhere else. Then I'm just going to spend it on something else. So both of these things are super important. I have to find that money, and then I have to deposit that money into my savings account or into my investment account. That second piece is so important. Kathy cut out satellite radio. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good for you. Good morning, Rob. I'm so happy that you're here. Now, guys, this compounding idea, it's theory, real thing, works in both directions. It can work to my benefit when I'm finding the little pieces of money to put into the investments and I'm earning that interest, but it can also work to my detriment when I have debt, and that debt is assessing interest against me, right? You all know this. You take out a loan somewhere, you have to pay interest. The biggest debt that many of us carry from month to month to month is our credit card debt. So I went online this morning to just go, what is the average credit card interest rate right now? And this is average. It depends on which card you have. It depends on whether you had an existing account or you get a new account. But overall, the average is 19%. So they charge you interest on your credit card if you do not pay off your entire balance within that monthly statement period. Now, a lot of times people will say, well, I paid off the minimum amount. That's what they said I had to pay. And that's true. But if you didn't pay off the whole thing, they are charging you interest on that. And credit card interest is actually assessed on a daily basis, if you didn't know that. So I also, because you know I like the numbers, we've talked about this before, I also wanted to know, what does the average American carry as credit card debt? And I found out that the average debt is $5,700. So then I wanted to go, okay, if I am carrying, on average, $5,700 worth of credit card debt every month, and on average, the credit card interest is 19%, then over time, how much is that interest costing me? In the first example, I was earning it. Now I'm spending it. With $5,700 at 19%, if I decide that I want to pay off this debt within the next year, 12 months, then I'm going to have to pay $526 a month and not put anything else on that credit card. $5,700, 19% is $526 a month, not charging anything new. And if I pay off this credit card in a year, that's not that long of a period of time. If I pay off that credit card in 1 year, guess what? I spent $608 in interest. That wasn't stuff I bought. That wasn't stuff I wanted. That was going directly to the credit card company. So again, what if I'm paying off that credit card month to month and I save myself that $608 in interest charges over the next year? Then I invest that 10 years, 6%. It's going to turn into an extra $1,088.84 in my retirement account. Now, sometimes people ask me, if I think that the 6% rate is a good number to quote, and I really do. And that's because, again, I like to look at the research. The Dow over a 10-year period of time, and that's what's important, not what happened in March because of COVID-19, not what happened in the last year, but in the last 10 years, the Dow is up 9.35. When I look at our federal employees, TSP, and also for members of the military, the Life Cycle 2020 over 10 years has made 6.7, 2030, 8.47, 2040, 9.41, C Fund, over 13%, S, 13%, I, 5.85, so very close to 6. So I believe, it's my opinion, I believe that 6% is a relatively easy to attain number. So that just makes such a difference in my retirement. I want you to be aware of that, and I want you to maybe think about some of this stuff a little bit more than you normally do. So I'm going to hop in here and see what I have for comments. I wonder what the average is based on income brackets. 5,700 isn't that scary of an amount, right? And it does matter what your income is, Nicole, absolutely. I know the answer, not off the top of my head, but in the comments section, as soon as I hop off the screen, I will share with you that debt that is broken out by median income across the U.S. so that we can see how much that's going to be. I'll also make this statement. You know my story. For those of you listening who don't, I grew up in a low-income home, got married, had 2 kids, got divorced. That's the short part of the story. And then I was raising my 2 children, taking care of myself and a foster child on $415 a month. And somehow I made it through. Now, I'm not living on $415 a month anymore because we grow to the income that we have. So once you get to this new income level, there's no way that you could possibly even imagine going back. It's just something that we do. So for me, I would say that we can do this stuff no matter what income level we're at. Sure, if I don't make a lot of money, then maybe I'm doing smaller chunks and maybe I'm not going to be able to do it all at once. I'm going to talk about how you can do it there too. And when I'm making more money, maybe I can save more or maybe not because I grew into that new income level. So all of us, it doesn't matter what we make, all of us, we can still be not saving for our own retirement because if we're spending more than we're making, it doesn't matter how much we're making, we're still getting behind that curve. But I will post that for you in the comments. You can check that out after we get off this stream. Kathy, we always pay our credit card off every month. If we know that we can't do that, we don't buy anything. That's awesome, Kathy. That's awesome. Yes. Absolutely. Now, if that's not something that you're going to be able to do, and again, I get that from my background, I understand that sometimes maybe you have to pay for something. You've got to get gas to get to work. You've got to buy groceries to feed your kids or whatever it is, and you can't afford to pay it off at the end of the month. Well, charge as little as you possibly can and pay off as much as you possibly can going forward. So, one thing that I wanted to offer up, and I'm not going to have a lot of time because I've definitely gone over my 15 minutes this morning, but hopefully that's been useful. I don't care how long it is, as long as it's working out for you. But I will definitely talk more about this next Friday when we talk about our financial things again. There are 2 ways of paying off that debt that may be very helpful. One is called the snowball, and to my knowledge, I'm not sure where it actually originated because I've seen a lot of people use that. So I will credit the original source if I can find that. But the snowball just means that I sit down and I list. Again, I'm not even making a budget. I'm just listing all of the debt that I have. And once I list it, I'm going to arrange it on my list from the smallest amount of debt to the largest amount of debt. And then I'm going to pay off the minimum amount that I need to on everything except the smallest debt. And I'm going to dump as much money as I possibly can towards that smallest debt to pay it off. And once that's paid off, that money is now going to roll over to the next debt. And once that's paid off, that money's going to roll over to the next debt. So that's the snowball way of doing it. There's also something they call the avalanche way of doing it, and I don't think it matters which one you use. It's whichever one is working for you. That's what's important. But the avalanche way is, again, listing out all of the debt that you have, but this time arranging it from the highest percentage of interest to the lowest percentage of interest. And you pay the minimum balance on everything except the highest interest debt, and you pay as much as you can toward that one to pay it off. And then as much as you can to the next lower one to pay it off, and so on and so on. So in one instance, you're going down, paying off the highest interest first, and in the other instance, you're going up, paying off the smallest debt first. That might be helpful for you. Debt is a downer either way. Yes, yes. Debt is a downer either way. And thanks for not saying Debbie Downer. Don't say that. Oh, I'm not a downer. I'm a positive person. I'm a nice person. I don't like the Debbie Downer thing. Hey guys, I have a couple of consults, so I need to hop off here and get to the rest of my work for the day. I will see you here on Monday morning if you can join me. Let me know. If this is helpful, please, I would really love to know that. I'm going to pop that info in here for you, Nicole, and I will talk to everybody else on Monday. Have a great day.